Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE and online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, big week in the sporting world this week. Multiple champions have been crowned. Records have been broken. There's a saying in the sporting world that's attributed to many professional athlete leaders out there, but it's a saying that is records are meant to be broken. And this week, we begin today's show with the breaking of a record in the NHL, which many deemed to be an unbreakable record. And it's funny because the record belongs to the same man that made the quote, records are meant to be broken, Wayne Gretzky. His all-time NHL scoring record falls this week to the legendary Alex Ovechkin as number 895 goals scored. The Washington Capitals star breaking the record with Wayne Gretzky in attendance. Tracy, I know you had a chance to see this in action, and the really cool, the belly flop penguin dive across the ice to follow. But whenever we think about these records like this, they're set so high, the bar is so high, there's no way this will ever fall. How big of a deal is this to see something like this happen?
Well, not only, I'll be honest with you, Mark, not only here in the United States, but around the world, because hockey is almost like, it's like soccer. It's world known. And this, for it to happen in our day and age, is unbelievable for one thing, but you had so many eyes on it. It's one thing for a football, American football, should I say, or maybe even baseball for a home run record. But for this is worldwide, and we had so many eyes on this. And it was classic, too, by the way. I know it was just like you were explaining how it happened, but he had a chance Sunday night to really to break it.
That's right.
And he backed off because he didn't want to do it in that fashion. So for him to be not only now the record holder, but also to be one of the higher echelon and to show the rest of the world, hey, look, I earned it. And so to speak. So not only on a local front, and I say local United States, but on a world front. This is because, okay, everybody thinks of, the hockey leagues here in the United States, but they have them also in Europe. They have them in Russia. They have them
very popular.
They've got them all over. But America, of course, just like they do with baseball and football and basketball, it's always the world championship right here.
Right.
So they demonstrated a little bit harder, and of course, social media has a lot to play with that. But for him to do it on the basis of the world watching and do it in style and do it in honor, I should say, it was unbelievable. And plus the amount of folks that were there. And of course, the great one was there, watching. So,
of course he was. And how much respect given there. Wayne Gretzky knew that his record would go down. And I think we all knew in the NHL world that it wasn't if, it was when, in terms of Alex Ovechkin. Hey, 39 years old, playing at the top of his game. I mean, he's the second leading scorer in the whole league. The Capitals are first in their division, in the Metropolitan Division. They're gearing up for the Stanley Cup playoffs, looking to make a deep run. Ovechkin's got one Stanley Cup championship to his name. Gretzky's got 4. I don't know that taking over the scoring record necessarily propels him into the number one GOAT status, but what just a remarkable journey for Ovechkin. Super great guy, lovable guy, great reputation, and a big leader for his team there. Of course, he still has 1 year left on his contract in Washington, and he did say that he does not plan to sign another contract. He thinks that after his NHL playing days are over, and if that's next season being his swan song riding off to the sunset, he said he wants to return home to his native land, Russia, and continue to play in the professional leagues in Russia. Hard to take a legend away from the game, right? Very, very hard to say goodbye to the game. I think I can understand that as well. I thought it was really, really cool. The goalkeeper, Sorensen, for the Rangers that allowed the 895th goal, gifted him the goalie stick, signed it. Yes. A great memento there. No bad blood at all. I always think about it like, okay, so if I'm the pitcher that gives up the record home run, right, or if I allow the record goal here, history doesn't necessarily remember you as the one that, you slipped up and you let it happen. I think it's kind of cool to be part of that journey and part of that moment too. Even if it's, you let it slip by or whatever. What a legendary moment there that you're always going to remember. You were in the room there. You were there on the play, and there's just no love lost there with such a momentous occasion there. So of course, gearing up for the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, Ovechkin and the Capitals in a really good spot, and now with it being 895 goals being the record, just have to put this one out there. Wayne Gretzky is now 1 goal away from tying the all-time record. Just saying.
Well, I'm not sure if he's going to come back or not, but you never know. Never say never, right?
Listen, I get it, but let's play What If, a scene from a movie, a
goodness.
Netflix original.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a movie like this before, the Mr. 300.
Mr. 300.
Mr. 300,
Yeah.
where the 300th hit didn't count and he had to go back and get it again. Just what if? Do you think Wayne Gretzky has it in him somehow to get one? They probably just let him score.
I was going to say,
They probably just let him score.
Well, if the Great Eight goes back to Russia, hey, I think there's maybe could be a little history in the making there.
I mean,
I don't know.
Gretzky already a Hall of Famer. I don't know if there's like a statute of limitations. Hey, once you've retired and you've reached the Hall of Fame, there is no going back. I don't know. Has anybody ever done it before?
I don't. Yeah, in the movies, just like you said, but I don't know. Gretzky's close in on 65, not 40. Okay, so
I know, but I mean, if you build the wall,
okay, I don't think they're going to let a 65-year-old man get back out on the ice.
He probably shouldn't. I mean, he's still referred to as the greatest of all time. He's got 4 cup championships, 9 MVPs. Gretzky has nothing to be ashamed of by giving up the record. He said himself, records are meant to be broken. He held the mark, Tracy, for 31 years. 31 years scoring record there. But Gretzky did come out and say, after the big ceremony, he came out and made another big quote. He said, yes, records are meant to be broken, but I don't think anyone's going to ever touch this one.
Correct. I mean, and rightly so. I mean, if you go back and see what, Gretzky before that, Gordie Howe and all those guys, they weren't even close. I mean, you're talking a couple of hundred. I mean, so, but never say never, Mark, because, hey, young men, they're getting healthier. They're getting bigger, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster, and they're starting to play a few more games, too, now that you're getting more teams in the hockey field, okay? But I'm going to tell you how I was actually following the Capitals this year because my son, Ethan, is a Capital diehard.
Okay.
Why? I don't know, but he just is. I was always,
look at the impact Ovechkin has as a player. That's the impact.
I never heard him talk much about the Great Eight. But in the last 7 years, it was like, Dad, they actually was in St. Louis playing. He wanted to go up there, and I said, son, we ain't, not the time or the, or the money, one or the other. But I mean, if it was the Blues or the Blackhawks or the Bruins, we'd be there in a heartbeat. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And that's who we used to go watch and play. They did attend some of those, but that's how I've been covering this story is because I've been watching. But I'm going to tell you what, the baseline here too, Mark. Let's go back up a little bit. Let's back up. Canadian born and bred Gretzky, okay?
Yeah.
Easy across the border there.
Yeah.
People need to realize, go to the bio of the Great Eight of Alex and go back to see how he got to where he is now and what it took because it wasn't so easy. I mean, growing up when he was growing up and then making his way to the United States, and sports helped him get along that trail, that destination. And if it hadn't been for that kind of effect on him as he was younger, it would have never happened because you don't leave Russia just to leave Russia, okay? Something's got to propel it. And it just so happened to be at the right place, right time. But I encourage folks to go back, read the history, read the bio, do a little research on Alex and see what he had to go through to accomplish this, not just on the ice, but where he had to live and his parents, just everything combined just gives you a great story. And yes, there will definitely be a movie about this. Now, who's going to play him, Mark? If you're going to, who's going to play him? Okay,
Alex Ovechkin, starring as himself.
I play very good.
These days, Tracy, to be honest, and this is a little tongue in cheek, these days it may just be Jack Black because he's in everything.
He's everything else.
He's in everything else. Why not? Okay, so if this record is now in the upper echelon of unbreakable records, because I mean, Gretzky's was there already. What are some other records that you think of that are on that list that are also, unbreakable records of all time? Here's another one that happened recently in terms of all-time scoring record. Remember, LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You have to think maybe that one's not going to fall ever either. But here's some other ones out there as well. I'm just going to throw a few different ones out your way from different sports. I want you to give me a yay or nay. Do you think this record could ever fall? We'll start in the NBA. Stephen Curry, 4,000 plus career three-pointers.
Never.
Okay. Next, NFL. Emmitt Smith. 18,355 rushing yards. He is still roughly 7,000 ahead of active leader Derrick Henry, who's still playing the game.
Yes.
You think Emmitt Smith's record will fall one day?
Well, if they keep adding games. Okay. Since the time Emmitt did it, they've added 3 more games.
Fair.
And think about this, Mark. 100-yard games are not 100-yard games. I mean, they think getting 1,000 yards a year.
Easy.
That's not. They got to change that mark.
We're getting close to 2,000 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Saquon Barkley era.
There you go. Okay.
Here's another NFL record for you. Jerry Rice, 22,895 receiving yards. Currently, the only person even remotely in the neighborhood is DeAndre Hopkins, who's in the tail end of his career. He's still about 10,000 yards away.
No.
Okay. Cy Young in MLB, 749 complete games.
No.
Active leader is Justin Verlander.
Yeah, I know.
In the end of his career, he has 26. Never, right?
Never.
Let's see. 8 straight NBA titles for the Boston Celtics. 8 in a row.
Never.
No way.
Never.
And let's see. There's 2 more. There's 2 more I want to throw out here. 2 more big ones. In the gymnastics world, Simone Biles with 30 Olympic gold medals.
Yes.
30. You think someone will beat it one day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And here's one. Whenever I think about, I'll give you 2 more. Because they're baseball ones and I love baseball. 2 more. Whenever I think about unbreakable records, these are the 2 that come to mind. Number 1, the late, great Ricky Henderson, 1,406 career stolen bases.
Never.
Current leader is Starling Marte with 354.
I'm going to tell you right now, never. Ricky Henderson was a freak.
And certainly, in this day and age, the most unbreakable record I would have to think is Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive games played, 2,632 games played in a row.
Never.
Matt Olson is the current leader with 629, which is pretty remarkable in itself in this day and age in MLB. Alex Ovechkin, congratulations, 895 career goals. You have to think he's going to sail well past 900 before he calls it a career.
It's something else, I'm telling you, but I encourage everybody to check on his bio. It's something, you're right. It's more than Netflix. This is going to be the major one. It's going to the.
I can't wait to see the movie.
I'm just telling you, Jack Black though.
He just
no, second quarter.
Kevin Hart? No. Moving on. When we come back, we've got some championship basketball. Stop. Sometimes I have no filter. I learned it from you. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up. Kevin Hart.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. We're also online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. So, Tracy, you and I are going to Disney World.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo,
right.
High five.
Woo,
Boom. Before this March
yeah.
Madness season started, we both picked Florida to win it all. Remember, if you remember back to that show where we announced our picks, I really thought we were going to go in different directions there. We did not. Turns out we were both right. You were technically more right than I was because you not only got your whole Final Four right, you also got your championship game right with Houston beating Duke. What a game that was. And what a game this national championship game was. I'm telling you, when you say it came down to the final play, it literally came down to the final play. And we say it all the time. Defense wins championships. And look what Houston was able to do to stop the best player in college basketball, Cooper Flagg, and end Duke's run. And the defense got him in. And it's a low-scoring game. It's in the 60s, and it comes down to the final play. And guess what? Defense won a championship. Walter Clayton Jr. He's not the biggest guy on the floor. But boy, when it came down to the final second shot, that 3-point attempt, Clayton Jr. was in his face. He drops the basketball because, here's the deal. The shot's going to be blocked, Tracy. If he goes through and tries to follow through, there's no way he's getting over Clayton. It's like he jumped off of a springboard, off of a trampoline to get the ups that he got there. Clayton Jr. was in the right place at the right time to stop that three-point attempt. And hats off to Houston. I know it looks like a turnover and a flub, and what are they doing? The Cougars did the only thing that they could do in that situation by essentially bouncing the basketball, dropping the basketball. And of course, for the fans that didn't understand what happened, that player for Houston could not touch the basketball again. If he did, it would be a travel, and it would ultimately seal the win for Florida anyway. So he backs off, and he's walling it off, and he's hoping that a Cougar teammate can get to it in time and put the shot off. But at that point, there's just no time left, and Florida is your 2025 national champion. The Gators led in this game for a grand total of 64 seconds. That's it. They trailed for most of this thing, and they trailed by as many as 12 points with 16 and some change to go in the second half. This one started to look like it was over early in the second half. Houston's defense was holding Walter Clayton Jr. in check for most of the game, but as we've seen so often in this tournament, the Gators found a way to come back. Head coach Todd Golden and the team reeled them in. They went into crunch time, and we talked about this last week on the show. Talk about those kill shot points. Florida went on a 15-3 run to come back and tie the game. And we would talk about those kill shot moments, those big stretches, those scoring stretches, and those runs. If Florida can manage to do it, Florida will find a way to win the basketball game, and that is exactly what they did. Florida took the lead for the first time in the final minute since the opening minutes of the contest, and the high-flying offense against the high-flying defense of Houston. Tracy, not only was it a fun game to watch, it was one of the greatest NCAA men's basketball championship games I think we've ever seen. Yeah. Instant classic.
Unbelievable. But you're absolutely right, Mark, though. Defense. And if you think about it, Clayton Jr., look at the first half. And then they total held him to 11 points. So, I mean, you're right. You don't think of him being as a defensive player. He scores, and he scores, and he scores a lot. And then for him to come up with the biggest defensive play, not only of his life, but probably for Florida, is unbelievable. And, you know, there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But as it is, they had that last timeout. They were able to, Simpson pulled him off, set the whole play up. And here's another biggie right here, and you're seeing defense win championships, right? That is the first game that Houston lost all year when the other opponent scored under 70.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
You hold somebody over under 70 points, you're winning the basketball game.
That was it.
Simply put, because of the elite defense there, and no one feels worse about this than head coach Kelvin Sampson of the Houston Cougars, and hats off to him. I know that we're in this basketball culture. We're in this sports culture that it's championship or bust. But Houston continues to find ways to grow and get better. This program is not only dangerous, but they're scary dangerous, because they were even better this year than they were last year, when, I also have to put out there, they also ended Duke's season and made a huge run in the NCAA men's basketball tournament as well. And when you look ahead to the road ahead, okay, so Florida gets the championship win. I wouldn't be surprised to see Walter Clayton Jr. declare for the NBA draft. My methodology is, if you have the opportunity to go out on top, when you're talking about collegiately, or maybe even professionally in your career, if you have the opportunity to go out on top, I think you take it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Florida Gators jumping ship to the NBA, but waiting in the wings, and we talked about this last week, and you had question marks about this. There's a freshman that redshirted this season.
Yeah.
He is 7'9". He would be the biggest player in men's college basketball history here in the United States. His name is Olivier Rioux. Mm-hmm. He's a Frenchman. And boy, how many Frenchmen have we seen turning the tables in the NBA right now? The 7'9" center decided to redshirt and sit on the bench. He's still going to get a championship ring. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But next season, it's his time to shine. And he'll have multiple years, if he wishes, to play in the college ranks to help bolster this Florida team that is flying high right now in a very dominant SEC and really just a very strong NCAA bracket as it is. Florida will still have to replace some big pieces because he's a center.
Condon's going to go too, though, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you have the opportunity to leave on top,
right,
you probably take the chance because, I mean, your draft capital, your draft status right now will never be higher than it is right now. Auburn was the team to beat all series long. Florida was just kind of sitting there in the shadows. SEC tournament comes around, they win this thing, and all of a sudden, I'm picking them, you're picking them, everybody else in America, maybe that's a stretch, but a lot of people started to believe in what the Gators could do, and we weren't the only ones. I bet there's other fans listening on this broadcast right now saying, yeah, Florida proved to me that they were the real deal, the complete package. They had everything. They had the depth. They had the three ball. This was the team to beat in the tournament, and they proved it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And like you said, they're just going to, I mean, it's hard to replace a Clayton Jr. or even down low a Condon for as many times as he so-called traveled. And we're not going to go into that either. He had a total of 3 traveling calls on him the whole year, and he has that many in the championship game, but they're gone. And so to replace those guys, but you're right, everybody now wants a piece of Florida. I'm sure they'll have many kids maybe either hitting either the portal or coming in, and I think they're just going to reload. Obviously, the coach, he may know a thing or two about coaching. You saw the experience. Everybody, even the announcers, Mark, I was thinking about this. They're asking, why is he not calling a timeout when Houston made that big run when they got up by 12? Why is he not calling that timeout? Well, let's go back a little bit. Again, he didn't do it in the previous games either. He knew his guys would play through it, and they did as a team. Even when Clayton was doinking them, they played through it. And he knew they were going to make that big run, that what you were talking about, the kill shots.
Yeah.
He knew it, and so he saved those timeouts. Why? Maybe to give him a little rest because he had them in his pocket at the end of the game. So the guy knows a little bit about coaching.
Hey, it's tough to do.
So, I'm sure he knows a little bit about recruiting. And speaking of coaching and recruiting, the women's side, did they make them any better than Gino?
So I know that UConn on the men's side came up a little bit short of their three-peat this year.
Right.
But boy, the Huskies are still hanging another national championship banner this year. Congratulations to Gino Auriemma, adding another jewel to his Hall of Fame crown on Sunday. UConn overwhelmed South Carolina.
Not even close.
82-59 over a very good, we're talking about a dynastic South Carolina team. UConn wins its 12th NCAA women's basketball national championship, all under Gino Auriemma. And of course, the big story, Paige Beckers gets her crown, gets her ring in her final season. It caps off a storied career for UConn with that long-awaited national championship. And she also passes UConn legend Maya Moore, who was in attendance for the championship game, for the most career NCAA tournament points by a UConn player, 477. The Huskies came out sharp. They never let up. They led by double digits at halftime. They turned this thing into a rout in the fourth quarter. They were already celebrating, and it was the first time in Dawn Staley's 3 championship appearances that her team fell short. The Gamecocks had no chance. They struggled mightily to keep pace with UConn in the end. UConn finishes 37-3. And it's hard to say championship drought, okay? But they hadn't done it in a few years at this point. But that drought is now over. Their first title since 2016. In injuries, in illness, there was so much adversity that went into making this team stronger. But Tracy, honestly, this is really kind of like a dark horse candidate there. I know UConn comes in as the 2 seed in the tournament, but they absolutely destroy everyone in their path. In the first round, they take down Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, 103-34. Ugly game. Ugly game. Taking out number 10 San Diego State, 91-57. Lopsided win. They beat number 3 Oklahoma, a good Sooners team, in just overwhelming fashion by like 20-something points. They take care of number 1 seed USC by double digits. They beat probably the best team in the tournament, UCLA, by 30-plus points. and of course taking down South Carolina by double digits. Nobody came close to stopping this team this year.
Hey, Mark, what's astonishing to me too is at no point in any time that the ranking number one never on their back.
No.
Never.
No.
And so,
think that puts a chip on your shoulder? It would for me.
And you and I talk about this all the time. Rankings mean nothing till the end of the year.
It's true.
It doesn't mean nothing. I mean,
it ain't nothing but a number, baby.
Especially in the tournaments, it doesn't mean a thing. Now, and of course, you may get a bye here, you may get a better seating here, but if you're good, and they're great. And so, you're chipping. Yeah, they had a big chip on there. And you know what? They didn't have the easiest way to get through that bracket.
No.
They had one of the harder brackets to get there.
They had to go straight through the fire.
Yeah, and I mean, now they started off with State, which, hey, good, congratulations, Arkansas State.
Yeah, absolutely.
First year ever.
Hey, you know what? Last game of the season, you lost to the champion.
That's it. So nothing to tip. Nothing to bow down to there. But look, here's the bottom line. They went through, just like you said, the fire, and they put every one of them out, and in style and fashion. And this is another thing. Back up a little bit and see what they had to go through. They even had everybody. They had 2 different players on there. With them saying that they didn't have the right paperwork, they didn't have the right numbers, they didn't have the right grades. I mean, people were filing motions on them right and left. You had one parent get upset, going to pull her kid from the team. They even had inter-squad little situations that Coach he finally admits they had more than one scrum at practices. So, but he said in the long run, that's what brought them together. And you know what? The dude, I think he knows what he's doing after 12 of them. And not only that, but the oldest coach ever to win a championship. So congratulations. I don't know if they'll ever be in the ranks of the UCLA's men's side with 12, but, hey.
On the women's side?
But on the women's side.
Hey, is this an unbreakable record?
You just took my thunder. We've been around each other too long. I'm going to say no.
I say that we should ask our listeners.
That's right. Let's do
We
that.
should ask our listeners. UConn has just won on the women's basketball side its 12th national championship in NCAA tournament play. Is it an unbreakable record? Text us now, 501-915-1300. And while you're at it, let us know what you think an unbreakable record is, maybe one of the ones we talked about in the previous segment, or one that we didn't mention yet on the show today. We always love to hear from you guys.
No doubt about that. And we want to respond. I'm going to respond here in a minute to the question we asked last week about the NBA stars, but we have a lot more to do. We got third quarter coming up, don't we?
Yeah, and we have to talk about the NBA. Nice segue. We're talking about it when we come back right here on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. So, Tracy, for the third quarter of this week's show, we're going to take it to the NBA. So, in last week's episode of our show, we talked about a stunning NBA coaching firing as we kind of broke down a situation involving the Memphis Grizzlies and, of course, troubled star Ja Morant. I never would have thought coming into this week's show that we would see almost a repeat story leading our NBA coverage.
Absolutely.
And another coaching firing. So when I'm going about my business throughout the week, whether I'm sitting at my desk at work or, driving around, I'm always listening to sports talk, right? I mean, we're sports guys. That's what we do. We're always following the latest news, always following the latest topics, because I'm always in show prep mode for this show on Saturday mornings. But I heard a term that was thrown around this week by an NBA sports analyst, and I couldn't help but agree, calling the NBA a copycat organization. When you think about Commissioner Adam Silver, we talk about him a lot, kind of emulating things that he sees from other sports leagues. You see a lot of teams following suit over other teams. For example, Steph Curry starts changing the game with three-pointers. You start seeing other general managers and other teams start developing the three ball. If it's working for them, we're going to bring it in here, right? But in the NBA, I never would have thought, and there's a trend that's beginning to occur here with firing coaches that are not only good coaches, but they're winning coaches. They are championship winning coaches. The news this week that the Denver Nuggets fire championship head coach Michael Malone. They won the NBA title just 2 years,
2 years ago. Yeah.
First title ever for Denver Nuggets. The winningest coach in Nuggets history. You could argue a coach that helped put this organization on the map. Yeah, there's stars from years past. Carmelo had a stint there, and Allen Iverson and Dikembe Mutombo. But Nikola Jokic is certainly the GOAT of the Denver Nuggets. Michael Malone is the only coach in the NBA that Jokic has ever had. Jokic single-handedly makes Denver Nuggets a playoff contender. By the way, in the NBA standings right now, the Nuggets, as of the time of this recording, are the number 5 seed in the West, which means they are a playoff team, not a play-in tournament team. Why are we firing the coach again with 3 games left to go in the regular season? The news seemingly comes out of nowhere. Malone gone. And also on notice is the general manager for the Nuggets as well, saying at the end of the season, you're gone too. So NBA analysts have come out with some news kind of breaking in from the locker room. Obviously, some internal struggles within the Nuggets organization. Denver is under 500 since the All-Star break. I believe they're 11-18 since the All-Star break. They're moving in the wrong direction, even though, like I said, they're still sitting in that number 5 seed. To be fair, the team has dealt with its share of injuries this year, but apparently also some coaching turmoil and some front office turmoil happening as well. But this is now an NBA era that has multiple championship coaches no longer with their team. Out of the past 6 NBA champions, only 2 of their head coaches still remain. Joe Mazzulla with last year's Boston Celtics still has his job, and of course Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors. But everybody else, you're talking about your Tyronn Lues, your Frank Vogels, your Nick Nurses, your Mike Budenholzers of the world, and now Malone, all gone, despite winning the championship. So is this no loyalty for coaches, or is this what I think you're probably going to say, taking the words out of your mouth before you say them? We talked about this last week. We talk about it a lot. The coaches don't hold a lot of power these days in the NBA. The players do. And if you lose the locker room, it's not, well, let's keep the coach and discipline the players. It's, let's find somebody that the players will listen to.
And it's not fair. And nothing's fair anymore. I'm sorry. They're making a paycheck here. And only, but here's the bottom line is, it's getting a disparity, Mark, where the coaches just don't. Why should they even be out there at all then? I mean, a player can call a timeout.
What is the purpose?
What exactly? A player can call a timeout.
As long as they have the ball. Yes, they can.
That's simple.
Yes, they can.
As long as they got the ball, they can call a timeout. They can make changes if they want to. What is the purpose of a coach if they are not running the locker room, if they're not on the sidelines calling strategy? What is the purpose of a coach? Do you not think that the other coaches in the league are watching this now? I mean,
if I'm an NBA coach, and gosh, at this point, I don't care what team I'm an NBA coach for.
Jeez.
Maybe outside of Mazzulla for the Celtics, but like I said, even winning a championship doesn't guarantee you loyalty. It doesn't guarantee you safety. More often than not, it doesn't even guarantee you a contract bonus or extension either. So yeah, if you're an NBA coach, I'm feeling a little bit nervous here because I guarantee that maybe outside of the front office, and look, they literally used the words, and I quote, Cold War era happening inside the front office between the rift between the GM and the head coach in Denver. Cold War was the word that they used.
Well, and the separation of state, too, I'm telling you right now, it's to where they're not even... Well, and besides an email, and it's not even coming from him. It's probably coming from the secretary or the bookkeeper or somebody, because it's getting to the point where it's so much of a disparity and a difference in styles of running an organization that it's just out the roof now. And these owners, they are looking at it like, I don't need you. It's just that simple. What I do need is that guy, those 5, maybe 7 guys. And if you're wanting to be a part of the organization, that's great. We'll call you the coach. But you're right, Mark. It is a trend, and it's something that they need to correct. And your favorite guy, what's his name? The guy that runs the NBA, the commissioner? Yeah. He's certainly not going to make a change in it. And the thing about it is, too, Mark, it's getting out of control with the kind of contracts they're getting. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. How many people out there could play basketball, maybe not at that level, but could still show up and make a dadgum good game and not have to make $10 jillion, a year? I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this right now. It's getting out of hand.
Denver comes out with an official statement, as you expect from the team, but it's a nothing burger. It thanks Coach Malone for his time and his contributions. He brought us the first championship, and he's a culture setter, and that's about it. They said, it was a hard decision for us to make, but we felt like we needed to make this decision. Okay, so you needed to fire your head coach, your locker room culture guy. Now, listen, in Memphis, the statement was different.
Yeah.
He had lost the locker room.
Lost
the locker room. Okay, now, as a recording here, Denver is in the midst of a 4-game skid. Yes, they are number 5 in the West. Yes, and it's technically a tie for 5th, and they are in danger of falling to the play-in game. Yes, but still, this, I think, is a difficult pill to swallow. Difficult for Nuggets fans and really just NBA fans in general to decipher how this decision actually helps the Nuggets in the near term or beyond. Here's the deal. Regular season is closing its books very, very soon. We're solidifying playoff positions. The playoffs are about to begin. So you're telling me the only head coach that Jokic has ever had is now gone. They're going to bring somebody else in. The chemistry's not there. The trust is not there. And you expect this team, which Denver is objectively a very good team in a stacked Western Conference. You expect them to be like, all right, yeah, our head coach is gone. Okay, we've got this. Don't worry. Now we're going to rally. Now, I'm very, very good at eating crow. And fine, if the Denver Nuggets make a run and go to the NBA Finals, we'll talk about it and we'll break down why I'm wrong in June. I don't think I'm wrong here. I think that this, unfortunately, is the beginning of the end, not only for the Nuggets this season, but it could be when you start looking at these superstars. I mean, they're not playing in the biggest market in the NBA. Denver's never been that big market team when it comes to the West. This could be the first domino to fall that could upend and take this organization back to the Stone Age.
No, absolutely, and I feel the same way about the Grizzlies, too. Memphis the same way. And you're talking about this is a conference right now with 6 or 7 teams that are vying for that position because Oklahoma and the city and Houston is already, they're already set. But now you're looking at the next ones. It ain't going to be the ones without a coach, our new coach coming in. And once again, Mark, I'll eat that crow with you anyway, barbecue, dipped in butter. I don't care if it comes through. But as it is right now, I don't see how a team, hey, maybe they'll get us, maybe they'll make us wrong. I don't know.
And listen, I know we sound maybe a little bit hypocritical here because we lead the segment talking about, well, the coaches don't really have the power. Why do we need the coach? So why is it a big deal that the coach is gone? I still believe that the coach has that culture and that leadership that the players lean on. I think that really good and well-disciplined players lean on because you still have very good long-standing coaches in this league, whether it's Eric Spoelstra with Miami, whether it's Steve Kerr with Golden State, whether it's even Greg Popovich. I'm not a Popovich fan, but the guy's been there for a very long time, and look what he did. I think leadership still matters in this league, and I think that this trend that we're currently seeing with firing these coaches and it's really player coaches, I think it's putting the NBA in a terrible direction, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for Adam Silver. I don't know how he stops it. I think that one team sets a trend and all the other teams start to follow. This is an ant farm, and Adam Silver's just watching from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
but the NBA owners, the GMs, the coaches, it's a carousel right now, and I think it's spinning in the wrong direction.
Let's just see how it plays out, Mark. And once again, hey, I'm fine eating crow, but let's just see how it plays out. But I would put $1 to a dime that they will either not make the playoffs or they definitely won't go very far. All right, fourth quarter. You tell me, we got something for that one, don't we?
Local roundup coming up. We do have some interesting stories coming your way. Don't turn us off just yet. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues when we return on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition 92.9 KVRE with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. So the fourth quarter of our show is always the local roundup. And Tracy, we begin our segment this week with a big coaching change right here in Garland County. Cutter Morningstar senior girls basketball coach Aaron Thomas is packing his bags. He's driving through Golfa Gorge, and he's taking over as Fountain Lake's senior girls basketball coach next season. Whoa. This is a big shakeup here in the Spa City. Of course, Thomas, in his first year with the Lady Eagles last year, took Cutter Morningstar to the Class 2A state semifinals last year. They fell to top-seeded Barton by just 1 point in the Final Four. 1 point separating them from the title game and a chance at bringing home a high school state championship in girls basketball here to our KVRE listening area. Aaron Thomas is a great guy. We've had him on our show before back during the season. Had a chance to talk with him a few times whenever I've seen him in games, like key marquee games like Cutter Morningstar and Mountain Pine. And I love the way that he leads these organizations. My heart breaks a little bit for Eagle Nation there because what a great year that they had. But, staying here in our listening area, going over to bolster a Fountain Lake squad that I think is going to be opening the door with welcoming arms for Thomas. Thomas did come out with a statement this week that I would like to read because I think it's very, very important. He says, quote, Eagle Nation, this past year has been one of my favorites in my career. We set out on a mission to add another great team to the history of the school district, and we did just that. I would argue this was one of the best teams in school history. On a personal note, I also wanted to honor my brother and coach with passion and love every day. I hope you can say that I did just that. This team and school district will always hold a special place in my heart, of my family and myself. Thank you to my fellow coaches, teachers, and school administration for your unwavering support every step of the way. And in talking about Fountain Lake, he says he's ready to roll up his sleeves and get to work with senior girls basketball. And his goal is, quote, for us to put a product on the court that our community can continue to support and rally behind. What a move. Aaron Thomas on the move to Fountain Lake. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm telling you right now, that just shows you his class. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Respecting where he was, but coaching, that's just it, Mark. You know as well as I do through the years that we've been doing sports, that we've seen several coaches change. And at one point, you maybe, just move on as far as maybe something you're seeing a better style of play or something or whatever catches their eyes. But I know this, the guy is all class, and that letter right there shows it. But coaching is different, Mark, these days, and you got to go where you think you're going to get the best players sometimes. It's just that simple. Your bottom line, we just got through going a big thing about coaching in the NBA. At this level at high school, it's totally different. You're trying to not only win a championship, but also you're striving to make the kids better too.
Yes.
And he pushed that envelope, and opened it up so many times last year. And he even said that in our interview. And he said he thinks he can make a change over at Fountain Lake because let's just be, Fountain Lake's been a little bit lackluster, here. They had some, real thin years, and all coach wants is a challenge. I mean, any good coach wants a challenge. And I think that's what's going to get. And, maybe a little bit bigger classification, more girls to work with. That's always something to think about. But I believe no matter where he goes, he'll be successful. And it's just that simple. He's one of those kind of guys. And he sure does have my back. And not that he needs it. But I can't wait for Fountain Lake, Cobras to get hold. I mean, I think there's nothing but go up from there.
And you certainly can't slight a guy for looking for a better opportunity to better himself as well. He's still a young man. He's still a young man in the coaching ranks, and he is rising up the ranks. He's adding to that resume. There are very big things in store, I believe, for Coach Aaron Thomas. And as a coach, you've been a coach. I've been a coach. I'm currently a coach of a T-ball team. You want to be able to develop players. You want to make players better players, but also better leaders, better young men, better young women in the community. And Aaron Thomas now has an opportunity to continue to strengthen this community here in Garland County. Switching schools within the county, kind of seems like a rivalry move. And maybe it sets up some cool matchups between Cutter and Fountain Lake down the road.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Gorge, right? We have it on the football field. Maybe we'll have it on the basketball court as well. But Aaron Thomas is not only growing and strengthening the community of Cutter Morningstar, now he's going to do it for the community of Fountain Lake as well. And as a coach, that's what you really want to do. I mean, you want to win. You want to get the things, the championships, the rings, the accolades, the records. Sure, those are nice, but you want to develop and strengthen these young student athletes, turn them into better leaders. And I'm really excited to see what Fountain Lake does this upcoming season.
I guarantee you'll be seeing some games between them. I can almost promise you that.
I hope so. I hope so, because I was in the building this year for Cutter Morning Star versus Mountain Pine. I'm a Red Devil alum, and I watched a girls' game where Mountain Pine, I'll be honest with you, Mountain Pine was dominant up to the halftime buzzer, and Aaron Thomas never looked phased. He never lost his cool. He always looked collected. And honestly, even when they were down by double digits, he always looked like, I'm still going to win this game. Watch how I do it. And he did. Yeah. He came back.
Pretty good fashion.
Upended a double-digit deficit in a very raucous Red Devil arena and got that win. And not that I didn't respect him before, but after watching that performance, my respect for him doubled, because I was like, whoa, this guy is the real deal. And I believe that he can take Fountain Lake to new heights, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Hey, and we were talking about records earlier, which ones aren't going to be broken, which ones are broken. Hey, NPC baseball, pretty good situation over there. You saw it firsthand, didn't you?
We had a young man that came through the ranks years ago, Demias Jimerson. We know him from Fountain Lake football because he used to be Malvern's quarterback. He left football when he graduated high school, became a baseball player for National Park College, and he held pretty much every offensive record for NPC for years and years to years. So when a Demias Jimerson record falls, it's a really big deal in Nighthawk Nation. And in the series this past week against ASU Mid-South, Q Walton, Quatarian Walton, they call him Q. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, comes in, he breaks the all-time stolen bases record. It's a Jimerson record, and he's not done yet. This sophomore second baseman, he's quick, he's great at getting on base, whether it's walks or hits. He blasted his 7th home run of the season also in the series as well. He's tied for the team lead in home runs. This is a young man. He's quiet, Tracy. He's not a man of many words. Even in practices or pregame warmups, I'm around the ballpark, we don't talk very much. But I'll tell you, he leads by example. He is a great young man, great leader for this program. Hey, NPC, this year's baseball team just very may well be the best baseball team in program history. Still got a lot of time to go, about a month left in conference play this year. But with the wins that they have, they're already approaching the single season wins record. They're dominating people. I mean, they scored more than 40 runs in the series against ASU Mid-South in dominant fashion. 8-game winning streak going into that Region 2 battle with South Arkansas College on Thursday. This is a remarkable effort. And it's not the only Jimerson record that Walton has broken this season. He also broke the all-time triples record this year, also held previously by Demias Jimerson. Coach Rich Thompson has a really good group of Nighthawk baseball players this year, whether it's Brian Rates, the ace on the hill, who is already the all-time wins record holder. He's also looks like he's going to break the all-time strikeouts record this year. And we've got some local talent. Brent Davis, the former Lake Hamilton Wolf. Wesley Campbell, the former Fountain Lake Cobra. A lot of young men. Adrian Aguirre, the former Lakeside Ram on this team. The Hot Springs and the Garland County communities are very well represented on this Nighthawk baseball team. Staying close to home, playing the game they love, going to school for half the cost. I'm really excited to see what this team continues to do this year.
And I encourage everybody, they play right here at Majestic Park. I would get out and come watch some of these games and see some of these superstars of the future, because you never know which ones you're going to be watching on the big screen someday for the MLBs, because they have that kind of quality, and I promise you that. Hey, Mark, while we're at it, a big weekend started off yesterday, but this afternoon you may see one of the biggest stars in all of racing. Thorpeda Ann is going to be running Horse of the Year last year and came out as a 4-year-old this year earlier, won convincingly, and today she's going for $1.25 million in the Grade 1 Apple Blossom out here at Oaklawn. A beautiful athlete, and I can say that. I've seen her up close, and one of the best athletes, I'm telling you, at Oaklawn's had in a long time. And, of course, only had 2 defeats in 12 starts. Unbelievable fashion, but she's going to be here this afternoon. If you like watching something real fast, well, guess what? It's going to be this afternoon.
You know, as a sports fan, I've learned as I've gotten older that, you know, seeing your team do something great or your favorite athlete doing something great, watching them on TV or listening on the radio is great. But it's all about those moments that you can have that you can see in person. You have the opportunity to see a great athlete in person today. Don't miss that opportunity.
Infield's going to be open. Families, everybody, you know, and there'll be magicians out there, all kinds of things for the kids. Come out and enjoy it. What a great week of sports, huh?
That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, here every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 92.9 KVRE.
Game is over.